Joe Biden is on the brink of securing the US presidency after flipping two key battleground states. Wins in Wisconsin and Michigan have pushed the Democrat just 6 electoral college votes short of the 270 he needs for victory. Nevada and Georgia have emerged as the two states that could decide the race. Donald Trump can still win, but his path to victory is narrowing. His campaign has launched a flurry of legal challenges, demanding that counting stop in some states and calling for a recount in another. With deepening uncertainty over the state of the race and how it could be decided, thousands of voters have taken their fury to the streets. Catherine Diss begins our coverage.
Man, democracy. Donald Trump made a false claim of victory.
As the vote tally presses on, signs everywhere. Waiting is the hardest part.
Unless the people stand up and make it clear that every vote has to count, the election will be stolen.
It's an accusation being thrown around on both sides.
The Democrats know that the only way that they could win this election is to cheat in Pennsylvania.
That's one of the key battleground states yet to be decided. There are more than 20 electoral votes at stake here, and counting is expected to continue for at least another day.
This is a stress test of the ideals upon which this country was founded, and I will do everything within my power to ensure that the results are fair and that every vote is counted.
Earlier, Donald Trump claimed he'd won in Pennsylvania, Georgia and North Carolina, which are all still in contention. Twitter hid his follow-up tweet that there may have been a large number of secretly dumped ballots in Michigan and that it's been widely reported, a claim deemed by the social media giant as disputed and potentially misleading.
It's clear that we're winning enough states to reach 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency.
Here in his home state of Delaware, Joe Biden has declared the people have spoken, saying he's received more votes than any other candidate in history. But there will be hurdles in his path to the White House. A small group of protesters called for vote counting to be stopped at this ballot processing centre in Michigan. One of the states where the Trump administration has filed lawsuits questioning the validity of the ballots cast. With both Michigan and Wisconsin in the Democrats' column, the momentum is firmly in Joe Biden's favour. Now all eyes are on Georgia, where the margin is narrowing.
We're going to finish tonight. As long as it takes, we're going to be here. That's why we're bringing in fresh bodies.
And Trump supporters are on the full offensive.
You think we're stupid? You think we're fools? You know something? The Democrats do think you're stupid. And they do think you're fools.
The Biden crime family stealing the election!
It's feared accusations Donald Trump has made against the validity of the vote could incite violence.
The Biden crime family stealing this election!
Waiting may be the hardest part, but in this country bitterly divided, it's also fraught with danger. Catherine Diss, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Let's bring in our US Bureau Chief David Lipson now. He's outside the White House. David, what have we been hearing from the Trump campaign today?
Juanita, we haven't actually seen Donald Trump today, which is unusual in itself. His surrogates are still exuding confidence, but they must know that Joe Biden is closing in on that magic number of 270 electoral votes. And if that happens, the only path for Donald Trump is through the courts. And we've seen a few of those challenges launched today. He's no stranger to litigation. Over the past 3 decades or so, he's been involved in some 3,500 court cases, and he has won a lot of them. But this is a very different ball game. The stakes are much higher for a start, and many of the challenges launched so far appear to be long shots. And if Joe Biden can extend a big enough lead, the outcome of those court battles may not matter so much.
And the world, of course, has been watching this critical moment in US democracy play out. What are you seeing on the streets over there?
Well, right now here in Washington, D.C., it is very, very quiet. But elsewhere, as we just heard, we have seen crowds of protesters take to the streets from both camps. The Trump supporters don't have the most consistent message. Down in Arizona, where Donald Trump is closing in on Joe Biden, they're saying count the votes, count the votes. Elsewhere, as we just heard there, where Joe Biden is closing in, they are saying stop the count. Not a very consistent message there. This system of democracy that was founded and conceived indeed some 230 years ago is being tested right now, but it is holding for now.
David Lipson reporting there from Washington. So let's look at where the race is right now. Some key states have stopped counting for the night, but others are still reporting. With the latest on the state of play, here's ABC election analyst Anthony Green.
After 2 days of counting, we're still in the position we're not exactly certain who is the President of the United States, but Joe Biden is much closer. At the moment, we've got him on 264 Electoral College votes. That includes Arizona. Some American networks still haven't given Arizona away. If you give him Nevada as well, he reaches 270 and is president. But let's look at some of those other states, what's going on elsewhere where the result is close. Georgia, for example, we've had further counting today, and at the end of counting, Georgia has only a 23,000 vote gap, and there's about 5% of the vote to come, and that is still a very close contest. The other state everyone is still watching is Pennsylvania. That was thought to be one of the key states of this election. It still looks like a big gap there, but everything that's to be counted is pre-polls and postals where the Democrats are doing extremely strongly, and quite a number of American networks are predicting that Joe Biden, despite being behind now, will end up winning the state.
Election analyst Anthony Green there. Well, regardless of the result, the division and discord in the lead up to this vote has stirred more Americans than ever before to have their say. Correspondent Greg Jennett explains where some of the battles were won and lost.
It's time for Donald Trump to pack his bags and go home.
It's a choice between a Trump super boom or a Biden depression. That's what it is.
The whole point in a two-horse race was to split Americans into fors and against.
We are going to win 4 more years in the White House.
No surprise, it worked. The divisions don't evaporate the day after Election Day, but behind the record turnout lie some hints about how and why 70 million people lent Joe Biden's way and roughly 67 million to Donald Trump.
He's set us on a track that couldn't be better with the economy.
It's time to make change. The only way we can do that is get out here and vote.
Exit surveys again prove the black-white divide broke in the Democrats' favour.
Look, the truth is Donald Trump has done more to harm black America than any president in modern history.
And the economic hope versus pandemic fear pitch can almost be traced too. Wisconsin and Michigan both ran high daily positive cases in the final weeks and swung blue. Republicans across the Sunbelt states, where peak rates were hit back in the summer, seem to have voted for normality. Then there's age and opportunity. Phoenix, Arizona, with its affordable housing, is America's fastest growing region. It's also never been more Democrat-leaning, washing a once Republican stronghold and the base of the late Senator John McCain with a deep blue rinse.
This guy is a stone-cold phony.
Good old campaign cut-through can't be discarded. Although the polls were out, some Americans did look past a few of Donald Trump's foibles, and he increased his voting places with a barnstorming finish.
As far as I'm concerned, we already have won it.
He now draws on that for his charge to the courts. What Americans were saying about their government and their lot at this pandemic poll will be the stuff of political analysis and books for years. Trying to answer the question, was this a once-in-a-century anomaly or the new normal for a country split right down the middle?
And there will be no blue states and red states when we win. Just the United States of America.
In either case, the split is clear and present right now. And it could fall to an occupant of the White House or those in the courts to deal with its consequences. Greg Jennett, ABC News, Washington.